What I'm about to tell you is pretty unbelievable. Just when it seemed like the love and hip-hop world couldn't get any more dramatic, a new story has surfaced that could flip everything upside down. Fresh details suggest there's something strange happening between Chrissy Lampkin and Mendeecees. And this isn't some small rumor that can be brushed aside. Their link has everyone talking, leaving people wondering what's really been going on behind closed doors. So how did Chrissy and Mendeecees even end up tangled in this mess? They were never really seen together much or shown having issues before, so why are they suddenly in the middle of all this? On top of that, Yandy's reaction has been intense. There's actual evidence, messages, anonymous tips, secret meetups, things that don't just appear for no reason. Fans who have watched for years are stunned. Was this a hidden betrayal? Or has something been happening quietly all along? You might want to sit down for this, because it's one of those stories you can't stop thinking about. By the time you hear it all, you'll probably see Chrissy and Mendeecees in a completely different light. Let's start from the beginning. Chrissy is known for being outspoken and fearless. She's been part of the love and hip-hop scene for years. Mendeecees, meanwhile, often talks about leaving his old life behind and changing for the better. Yet, somehow, drama always seems to follow him. Or maybe he creates it himself. But what if their connection is deeper than what we've seen on camera? What if there's real proof showing they were linked in ways fans never knew about? Here's where things start getting messy. While Chrissy and Mendeecees didn't spend much time together on screen, they ran in some of the same circles off camera. Before Mendeecees and Yandy became a couple, he was already associated with people close to Chrissy. There were mutual connections, late-night visits, and even business dealings that didn't exactly seem legit. Think back to when Chrissy and Jim Jones faced money problems. There were rumors of missing funds and shady deals. Some insiders say Mendeecees helped make those problems disappear quietly. They claim he was the one handling things behind the scenes. But that was only the beginning. Everyone knows Chrissy and Jim's relationship was complicated. She even proposed to him on TV, but Jim dodged marriage talks for years. But what if the real issue wasn't just Jim's hesitation? What if someone else was involved, getting closer to Chrissy whenever Jim was away? That's when things start to add up. Word is, Chrissy and Mendeecees weren't just handling business. There were whispers about late-night visits, private meetups, and strange encounters that didn't make sense unless something more was happening. And this isn't made-up drama. Someone close to the situation shared detailed information. This insider claimed that while Jim was gone for weeks, Mendeecees was spotted going to Chrissy's old place more than once. And if it was only business, why did these visits happen so late at night? And why was it all kept secret? When people sneak around like that, it usually means there's more to the story. That's where Yandy comes in. She's always stood by Mendeecees through all kinds of trouble. But even she couldn't ignore the rumors once they started spreading. Sources say she confronted him, demanding answers about Chrissy. The talk didn't go well. Instead of flat-out denying everything, Mendeecees acted like Yandy was blowing things out of proportion, saying it was all old drama and just gossip. But when Yandy brought up the late-night visits and questionable money moves, he didn't say a word. And silence in that moment said more than a denial ever could. Remember, Chrissy and Yandy never got along. Their feud goes way back, with Chrissy calling Yandy messy and accusing her of interfering in Jim's career. So imagine how Yandy felt hearing that Chrissy might have been secretly involved with her husband. She was ready to confront her. And she did. At a private gathering, calm but direct, Yandy approached Chrissy and asked, "How long have you been involved with my husband?" The room went silent. Chrissy tried to laugh it off, saying Yandy was being dramatic. But Yandy wouldn't let it slide. She pulled out receipts, screenshots of suspicious money transfers, personal messages that didn't seem like just business. And the biggest shocker? A witness. Someone who said they saw Chrissy and Mendeecees together and was ready to tell their story. That's when everything started to crumble. Chrissy, usually quick to fire back, seemed thrown off this time. But instead of admitting anything or walking away, she laughed, saying Yandy was bored and making things up. Yandy stayed calm and replied, "Before you laugh, hear what this person has to say." Then Yandy played a voice recording. In it, a man named Dre said he used to drive Mendeecees to Chrissy's place multiple times. Dre claimed Mendeecees asked him to keep quiet because he didn't want anyone knowing. The biggest bombshell? Dre said Mendeecees admitted Chrissy had some kind of power over him, which is why he kept going back. The tension in the room was hard to ignore. Chrissy's laughter stopped instantly, and she went completely silent. But Yandy didn't let up. She leaned in and asked, "Still think this is funny? Or should I keep talking?" Chrissy had reached her breaking point. She jumped up so fast, her drink spilled. Marching toward Yandy, she pointed her finger, ready for a fight. "You really want me to defend myself over some fake recording?" she snapped. "You're just inventing stories, Yandy. It's pathetic." But Yandy didn't flinch. She wasn't just tossing out claims. She had receipts. She pulled out her phone and showed source. It was between Mendeecees and Chrissy. Not outright romantic, but it raised questions. Mendeecees, "You sure everything's cool? Nobody asking anything, right?" Chrissy, "Don't stress, I've got it handled. Just keep doing your part. I'm fine as long as you stay clean." Does that sound like normal business talk? And remember, Jim Jones and Mendeecees were never close. So why would Mendeecees be helping Chrissy at all? It didn't add up. Chrissy looked furious. She glanced around at everyone and shook her head, acting like Yandy had completely lost it. "You really believe this garbage?" she asked. But not everyone was convinced. Some people stared at her suspiciously. Others whispered. And once gossip starts, it spreads fast. Then Yandy fired back with a sharp line. "If none of this is true, Chrissy, why do you look so nervous right now?" That was enough for Chrissy. She rolled her eyes, snatched up her purse, and stormed out. Soon after, videos of the argument hit the internet. Blogs picked it up, and Twitter exploded. This wasn't just gossip anymore. People wanted answers. The strange part? Mendeecees stayed silent. No statement, no social media response, nothing to defend himself. And this is someone who usually claps back when called out. So why keep quiet? Maybe he knew speaking up would only make things worse. Meanwhile, Yandy had reached her limit. She packed her things, took the kids, and left. Reports say she even stopped picking up Mendeecees' calls. This wasn't a small disagreement. It felt final. If Yandy was right, it meant Mendeecees had been lying to her for years. And Chrissy had been moving in the shadows the whole time. But here's the real question. What does Chrissy have on Mendeecees? Remember, Dre claimed Mendeecees once admitted Chrissy had leverage over him. That's what keeps people talking. What secret could be so serious that Mendeecees has to do what she says? Even stranger, Jim Jones hasn't said a word. No posts, no comments. And that's unusual because Jim is never quiet for long. If he's staying silent, maybe he already knew about this arrangement between Chrissy and Mendeecees. Or maybe he's worried Chrissy has dirt on him too. Chrissy left that night like she was escaping a fire, and Mendeecees never spoke up. Online, people went wild. When someone doesn't defend themselves, rumors take on a life of their own. Some fans started wondering if Chrissy and Mendeecees had a history that went way back, even before Jim and Yandy. But that theory faded fast when new information came out that made things even more shocking. An insider claimed Mendeecees was tied to illegal activity years ago. We know he served time for drug trafficking, but this source said Chrissy wasn't just nearby, she was part of that same world, not just watching from the sidelines. If that's true, this isn't just about texts or secret meetings. Chrissy might hold serious evidence against him. Mendeecees. Legal proof that could ruin him. Something powerful enough to keep him from cutting ties. Going back even further, before Mendeecees went to prison in the early 2000s, it's said he and Chrissy crossed paths more than once. Chrissy always had ties to major street players. People say she knew a lot, including details about Mendeecees' past. When he got locked up, he may have thought it was over, but Chrissy didn't forget. She kept records. The insider said Chrissy has proof that could destroy Mendeecees if she chose to. That's why he can't just walk away. He owes her, and she makes sure he remembers it. And it gets wilder. This isn't the first time Chrissy has used secrets to stay in control. Back in the day, she wasn't just known as Jim Jones's girlfriend. She had ties to other big names in hip-hop and collected information people didn't want getting out. That's how she held power, not by being loud, but by holding on to what others feared. Now it seems Mendeecees is trapped in her web, and once again, Jim stays quiet. That silence speaks volumes. If you want the latest updates and real details without the fake hype, hit that subscribe button. We bring facts and proof, no extra fluff. Stay with us, turn on notifications, because this story is far from over.